Today, I'm going to be going over some different ways to drive more phone calls for your business using Google Ads. Now, before I get into any types of search campaigns or call assets or anything like that, I want to go over local services ads very quickly. The very first thing you should do is see if you are eligible for local services ads. So the way that these actually look is if I go to Google and I search landscaping company near me, or I go to Google and I search plumber near me, you're going to see these different ads at the top. You'll see Google Guaranteed. Now over here, same thing with landscapers. You'll see Google Guaranteed here at the top. The way that these work is with this company here. Let's just say I want to hire them to do landscaping for my home. So what I can do is I can message them, and when I send them a message, they basically pay for that lead. I could also give them a phone call and they would pay for that lead. Now, companies are specifically paying for leads rather than paying for clicks, trying to drive people to, for example, the example I'm going to be using in this video is rotorooter.com, who also runs local services ads. But instead of going to their website and them tracking a conversion from their website, it is all tracked directly from Google. And when companies receive leads, they will get those leads in the Google Local Services Ads app. So all of those leads are going to come in, and companies have to reach back out to customers, and basically those leads can become potential customers. And the way that they work with companies paying for leads, generally what companies can expect to pay, I mean, it's really going to vary based on industry, but I think the average is around $25 per lead for Google Local Services Ads. So if you say, you know what, I have a $1,000 budget, what I'm going to do is see if I'm eligible for Google Local Services Ads, and there's a list of different companies that should definitely do this immediately if you want to run Google Ads. So there's a huge list here. I'll put all these links in the video description so you can go through all of these different businesses that if you're offering any of these services, you should definitely see if you're eligible. And then Google is going to screen your business. You do have to pass a background check basically through Google. And what Google is going to do is you get that Google Guaranteed badge here. And that basically protects you, and it protects potential customers who are contacting you. So if you are trying to drive phone calls for your business, I would definitely recommend getting started by signing up for Google Local Services Ads and going through this entire process, because what you're doing is you're not paying to actually drive people to your website and trying to drive leads that way. You are paying directly for phone calls and for bookings, so people can book appointments, they can message you. You can do all of that with local services ads. So that's the very first thing that I would recommend doing. Now, even if you are eligible for local services ads, a couple different options here. You could just say, I'm going to put all of my budget into local services ads and not even worry about trying to drive traffic to my website. Now, I'm going to use rotorooter.com as an example today because they do a great job of driving phone calls and driving leads, and you see them all over Google Ads within the local ad service. So you can even see right here, ARS Rescue Rooter, Myrtle Beach Plumbing. So I'm located in Myrtle's Inlet, South Carolina. So I'm getting their local Myrtle Beach store here. So they are running local services ads. Sometimes we'll see their ads down here as well, but right now there's a couple other advertisements running there. So even if you're running local services ads, and that is where I recommend starting, you also want to set up Google search campaigns. So the best thing to do is when you're setting up a new search campaign, if you're not 100% sure where to get started, the very first thing is setting up conversion tracking. Now, I made a detailed video about Google Ads phone call conversion tracking. It's updated. It does use basically the old interface of Google Ads, so Google is rolling out a new interface, but you should still be able to follow along using this video. And I am planning to update all of my videos using the new interface of Google Ads just so they're easier to follow. But what you can do is if you come in here to goals and you go to conversions and you just click on summary to get started, you can see I've already set up this phone call lead here. This is very easy. So these are calls directly from your ads. So this would include call assets or call only ads. Now, if we quickly come back over to YouTube real quick, you can see I have my Google Ads call campaigns video. I just published this 4 days ago. All of my videos related to phone calls. So the phone call conversion tracking, call campaigns, and I created a video about call assets. I will put in the video description so that you can easily find all those videos as well. But to create this conversion action is very easy. You click on new conversion action, you choose phone calls, and now here are a few different options that you have. Clicks on your number on your mobile website. So that means people who click to call you directly from your mobile website, calls to a phone number on your website. Now, the way that these work is Google is going to be using forwarding numbers. So when somebody, let's just say this is your phone number right here. This is the Roto-Rooter number. Now, what's going to happen is you set up a little piece of code on your website. So everywhere where your phone number is, what Google is going to do automatically when you set up for calls to a phone number on your website is they're going to change this phone number so it's something that Google can actually track. So if somebody goes to the website it's going to be a different number than the number you're actually calling, and Google is able to track that number. So when somebody types that number out into their phone, Google can say, okay, this phone call came directly from somebody who came from a Google ad. So hopefully that all makes sense. But Google forwarding numbers are going to be the way that they are tracked back to your Google Ads campaign. And the reason you want to track conversions, whether it's calls to a phone number on your website, clicks on a number on your mobile website, or calls from ads, is that Google can actually optimize your campaign to continuously drive you more phone calls. So instead of driving, let's say, 10 phone calls a month, you could drive 50 phone calls a month, because with conversion tracking, your campaign is actually going to be geared towards driving you more phone calls. Now, you can also sign up for a service like CallRail.com. If you're getting a ton of phone calls and you have a big Google Ads budget, I would recommend using CallRail. It gives you more information as far as your phone call data and everything like that, and it is easier to basically set up conversion tracking, and they will work with you on your account to also help you set up conversion tracking as well. So if you really want to drive phone calls, CallRail is definitely a service that I would recommend, and a service that I recommend to different clients that I've worked with. Now let's come back over here to Google Ads. Calls from ads using call extensions or call only ads, very easy to set up. You basically just choose that as your conversion action, name your conversion. You would set the same value for each conversion. You can always adjust this value if you know how much a phone call is worth for your business. And then basically what you're doing is Google is going to see how long every call is, and based on the call length is whether or not it counts as a conversion. So you can set 120 seconds, and then if a call lasts over 2 minutes, it's going to count as a conversion. That's really all you have to do to set up that type of phone call conversion action. Now, the other conversion actions I'm not going to be going through in this video, but if you do go through to phone calls, calls to a phone number on your website, click on continue, you're going to see you set it up the same exact way. And when you go to the next step, Google is going to tell you how to set up the tag. There's different ways to track this, and this is what I go over in this video. So that's definitely where you want to get started, because you want to track every way that you drive phone calls for your business, whether it's from call assets, which I'm going to go through in a minute, or it is from people actually visiting your website and calling you directly from your website. So now here is how I would recommend setting up a search campaign. First and foremost, you obviously want to have your conversion tracking set up. The other thing that we can do here, so if we come over to tools and we go to planning and we go to the keyword planner, let's just pretend, so we're pretending that we're Roto-Rooter here. Let's pretend we come into the Google Keyword Planner, we click on Discover New Keywords, and we just say plumbing, plumber, plumbing services. So we'll just enter a few different keywords here. You could also start with a website, so we can enter rotorooter.com, but we'll just start with these 3 keywords here. And we're going to get rid of refined keywords over on the right, and we're going to, okay, so it's going to pull up all of these different keywords, and basically what you're doing is you're looking for keywords based on the services that you offer. Now you can do this with some of the landing pages you may already have set up. So under here, under plumbing and drains, you're going to see commercial, dishwashers, drain cleaning, emergency services, faucets, garbage disposals, leaks, pipes, sewer lines, showers, sinks, sump pumps, toilets. Those can all be basically keywords that you target. So toilet repair, fix a leaky toilet, fix leaks, replace pipes, commercial plumbing services. So those are some of the different keywords that you can target. That is where I would recommend getting started, is coming up with the keywords that you're going to target first and foremost. And you can also do this based on your landing pages. So if I have a landing page here with the emergency plumber, and then we have another landing page with commercial plumbing services, and then let's just open this landing page here for leaks, so water leak repair services, you could basically take these keywords that Roto-Rooter or any of your competitors are already using, and what you would want to do is set those all up as separate ad groups. So when you go through the keyword planner here, what you can do first and foremost is you can add a filter and say keyword text contains, and you could just, for example, say plumbing, plumbers, and plumber. So we'll just take those 3 keywords to get started. So now we're down to 802 of 1,500 keyword ideas. If you're interested in finding the overall search volume, what you can do is do your actual area that you target here. So let's just choose, we'll say Myrtle Beach, and we're going to use the Nielsen DMA region. So it gives us a larger reach than just the city of Myrtle Beach. Now, this isn't a huge population. Obviously, if you're serving a big city, you have much bigger population. You may also target down here is a separate DMA region. So what you can always do is enter some of those locations as well. But we'll just use this location, click on save, and it will actually give you better data as far as the average monthly searches for each of these keywords. So when you come through here, these are all the different keywords you want to target. Plumbing services near me, plumbing companies near me. Now some of these you can put in the same exact ad group. best plumbers near me, plumbing companies near me, plumbing services near me. All of those I would put in the same ad group. Now, plumbing frozen pipes, that is something where I would look at. Now, it doesn't happen as often here as it does up north. It's in the United States at least. But basically, you would want to target that keyword separately, so then you can have an ad basically saying, frozen pipes, we can fix it fast. Contact us today. 24-hour plumber. So you can use keywords like 24-hour plumber, emergency plumber. But I would put a lot of these types of keywords, local plumbers, into the same ad group, plumbing company. And then what you want to do is take some of those other keywords, such as things like leak repair and things like that, as separate ad groups that you want to create. So the way that I would do that is, first and foremost, I would recommend you going through the keyword planner. This gives us 800 different keyword ideas, and just go top to bottom, go by average monthly searches. Even if you can't see the exact data here, you can still rank these keywords by average monthly searches, and Google will show you which keywords are the most popular. Now, you may have some keywords here that are your actual competitors, and that's one of those things where you can bid on competitor keywords, and it may cost you more just because Google is going to always give more relevancy to companies that are bidding on their own branded keywords, but you can still try to steal some of the served business from your competitors. Now, over here, as we scroll over, you can see how much these bids actually are by getting some type of idea of, okay, this is how much I'm probably going to be charged per click for all of these keywords. Local service keywords are generally pretty expensive, but you can see here the average that you would pay for a lot of these plumbing keywords. I would say with a good campaign setup, you should be able to get a cost per click, just looking at this data here, under $10. And now, while that might seem a lot of people who are searching for plumbing services in your local area, when they go to your landing page, if they're looking for emergency plumbing services, they're going to say, okay, let's just make sure that we book today so we can get a plumber out here as quickly as possible. So part of it is going to be, yes, it's going to be expensive keywords, but you need to make sure as a local business that you are answering your phone, that you are replying to people that are actually filling out your contact form, so that you don't lose leads in the process. So the other thing is having a very informative website. So when somebody goes to your website, so a website like this you could go to, I can schedule online if I want, I can call. I would recommend giving people different ways to contact you, specifically scheduling online. You could do an appointment booking service. You can put a chat bot in the little right-hand corner here and have the chat bot send text messages directly to your phone so that you know, okay, somebody is reaching out to me right now and they need plumbing services. If you're unable to keep up with your leads, basically you're going to be wasting money if you're not following up with your leads as quickly as possible. So let's come back over here, and here is how I would create a campaign to help drive more phone calls for my business if I were a local plumber, for example. So we're going to create a new campaign. Now, we come back here to the campaign screen, you can just click on the plus sign here. You want to go to campaigns, click on the plus sign, click to create a new campaign, and your campaign objective is going to be leads. Now, what I would recommend doing is just looking over here on rotorooter.com. They probably track every single phone call that comes in from Google Ads. I would pretty much guarantee they do. And then when somebody clicks on schedule online, you can actually track every time someone clicks on this button or this button. So with Google Tag Manager, you can track every time someone clicks on a specific button with specific text on it. And one more time, coming over here to YouTube, I have track button clicks as conversions in Google Ads. So I will again put this video in this video link in the description for this current video I'm recording. So let's come back over here. So underneath your conversion goals, you would want to track every single key thing that's happening on your website. Phone calls, you can track button clicks. You can set different values. So you could say, okay, a phone call is worth, let's say, $10 to our business. Every time someone clicks that button, we want to count that as $1. Every time someone enters their zip, city, or postal code, we want to count that as $5. And you can use your own data to actually come up with real numbers here. But what you can do is actually set specific values for different conversions. So then what Google is going to do is actually optimize for conversion value rather than specifically conversions. But what you can do here is we can set up our leads, and then we can set up all of our conversion goals here through our leads. So you'd want to do things like button clicks, phone call leads, including calls from ads, and then phone call leads, calls from your website. And you can also do things like qualified leads. So when people actually get to the final step here where it's enter city, zip, or postal code, and then they fill out the form, all of this should be tracked along the way. The more you track, the better that Google can actually optimize your campaigns, and the better that you can optimize your campaigns. So we're just going to say, yeah, let's just use all of these conversion goals here. We'll click on continue. And now what we want to do is select a campaign type. So what I would recommend for driving phone calls is to use search campaigns. Now, there are some businesses that can use video as well. So let's just say, for example, you're someone who installs pools. What you can do is basically create a video ad of, okay, here is our process for how we install a pool. So if you get people that are interested in installing a pool, and you can create custom audiences, you can use remarketing audiences. And you can also, if you're creating local videos already about, here are some of the different services we offer, you can retarget to people that are actually looking at your YouTube videos. But if you're saying, okay, we install pools in this specific area in the United States, target that specific area with a video campaign and try to drive leads from a video campaign. And honestly, it's worth doing a test budget, because showing people the process of the before and after of here is us installing a pool and somebody's backyard before we came in and somebody's backyard now is a great way to actually sell your services. Now, if we're going to click on search campaign, select the ways you'd like to reach your goal. If you choose phone calls here, that is how you create a call-only campaign. I will put that link in the video description for how to do that. I generally just recommend using website visit campaigns. The only time I really recommend using call-only ads is if your website is not set up and optimized. If you're really just kind of I just offer local services, my website is not the greatest website, I really want to focus on phone calls, that is when I would recommend call-only campaigns. In this case, we are going to use website visits. Now, you could also use lead form submissions, but I would still recommend using website visits. Enter your business website here, name your campaign, and we're just going to click on continue. This is obviously not a real campaign that I'm running, so bidding, what do you want to focus on? We want to focus on conversions. Now, if you have separate values set up for your conversions, like I mentioned earlier, so if you have a value set up for somebody clicking this button, a value set up for every time someone gives you a phone call, a value set up for each individual step in the process, then what you can do is you can optimize for conversion value. If you're just tracking, okay, I'm tracking phone calls and form submissions, then what you want to do is track for conversions. You can set a target cost per action and say, you know what, I want to drive leads at, let's say for plumbing leads, at $40 or less to get started. So you can always bring your CPA down, and that's ultimately your goal, is to get your CPA as low as possible. Whereas if you're going with conversion value and you're using target return on ad spend, you want this to be as high as possible. So that's ultimately what your goal is when you are bidding for conversions, and you definitely want to bid for conversions. So we're going to click on next here, and it's going to say campaign settings. We don't want to include the display network. We want to include the search network. And what we want to do is under location options, we want to use presence, and we want to enter another location. And since we're using Myrtle Beach as our example, we are going to use the Myrtle Beach DMA region. Now, I know Myrtle Beach is kind of a funny area to use, but keep scrolling down here. So language, you want to select your language targeting here. Audience segments, you can add specific audience segments to your campaign. And one of the things I always recommend doing, so for your specific business, you can always observe and just search here. So we can put plumbing, and you can see there's people in market for plumbing services, in market for plumbing fixtures, in market for home inspection, plumbing fixture hardware and parts. You can target some of these different audiences, just observe them and see how they perform, especially the plumbing services in market. The thing is, people who are in the market for plumbing services probably are going to book pretty quickly. So it's not going to be something where people stay in the plumbing services market for very long, the same way they would for somebody who's in for example, a luxury car in market audience, who somebody is going to take much longer to purchase in a luxury car than to call a company for plumbing services, because generally they are something that's a little bit more of an emergency than purchasing a luxury car. So you can use some of these different audiences here as well. It'll only help your campaign performance by observing those audiences and seeing if they give you any type of lift. Broad match keywords, I would recommend turning these off for local services ads. Under more settings here, a few different things. So start and end dates. If you only want to run your campaign for a specific period of time, you can do that here. This is the main one here. So ad scheduling. If your campaign is set up with call assets, you can also schedule assets as well. So I'll go over that. But if your campaign is set up with different assets like call assets, lead form assets, you may want to say, okay, I only want to run my ad schedule when I'm actually available to take phone calls. So if you're not available to take phone calls 24 hours a day, then you definitely want to set an ad schedule. If you are 24 hours, you take phone calls, then just leave the ad schedule off and just go all day, every single day. Okay, so now we can click on next. And now we're going to start setting up our ad groups. So we're just going to set up a few different ad groups here as an example. The very first one is we're just going to say, so we could do plumbing services. and you can enter a URL here to scan for keywords. You can enter your products or services to advertise. So let's just come over to our example here and come back to Google Ads, and we're going to say plumbing services, get keyword suggestions. Okay, so we're going to scroll down. Now they're going to obviously pull in some of these brand keywords here since I used the Roto-Rooter website. But what you want to do here is, and we went over some of the keywords earlier in the Google Keyword Planner, you can export all of those keywords from the Keyword Planner. But in this ad group, I would do things like plumbing services, plumbing company. Truthfully, if you just targeted these two keywords, it would pretty much target a lot of different search terms. So if you do phrase match keywords, and you do plumbing services and plumbing company as phrase match keywords, I would create a separate ad group for branded keywords. So people who are actively searching for your brand and something related to plumbing, that I would set that up as a completely different ad group, or even a different campaign. If you just want to focus on your branded campaign completely separately, that is a best practice, is to create a separate branded campaign. Now for this, they only gave us a few different keyword ideas. So we'll come back to the top and we'll get rid of these keywords. So what you could do is for plumbing services, enter these two keywords, and that will target a ton of search terms. People who are searching plumbing company near me, plumbing companies, plumbing services near me, plumbing service company. So you can start with just these two keywords. Let's see if we get rid of the URL. Okay, so we can update our keyword suggestions using these, and you'll see there's a lot more keywords here too. So you could take some of these keywords out. Generally what I'm doing if I'm building campaigns, I will kind of separate out keywords based on the landing pages where I'm sending traffic to. So for something like schedule service, this may be exactly, or if we just come to their main plumbing page, this is where I'd send all of the plumbing services, plumbing company, and those types of keyword traffic. For 24-hour type, I would probably do emergency services, so send everyone to this emergency plumbers at your service 24 hours a day. Now let's just use our example that we had earlier and select all, use these two keywords, and continue on to the bottom. And now we need to create our responsive search ads. So in this case, what we're going to do is we are going to use the plumbing services page that I just showed. So take this page here, come over, enter that as our final URL. And then what you can do is under display path, just do plumbing, and we could do services. So make the display path of the URL look like exactly what people are typing in and looking for. Phone calls, because you selected phone calls as a campaign goal, add a call asset to use with your ads. So you definitely want to add a call asset. You click on the plus sign for calls here. And what you want to do is add your phone number. If you don't have it already, you can create a new call asset. Very easy here. So add a new call asset, enter your phone number. Call reporting is turned on. And then under conversion action, what you can do is, this is the conversion action I created, call assets or call only ads. So then anytime somebody calls from a call asset and the phone call lasts for a certain period of time, we can actually track that as a conversion. And this is where you can set up a schedule for your call assets. So if you only answer the phone call for specific times during the day, this is where you would want to set up that schedule. So let's come back real quick. I will enter my phone number here. This is a fake phone number. Click on apply, and now we are tracking this phone number. Anytime any phone call lasts over 60 seconds, it's going to count as a conversion tied back to our Google Ads campaign. Now, call assets will show up on mobile devices and desktop devices. If we come over here, they're much more prominent on mobile devices, and people can actually click and call directly from your advertisement. On desktop devices, sometimes your phone number will be listed at the very top, where people can actually use their phone and call that phone number. Now, Google also uses Google forwarding numbers in the search results, so they're not going to list your exact phone number. They are going to have a call forwarding number on here so that Google can actually track phone calls tied back to your Google Ads campaign. So again, we're going to click on cancel and come to the bottom. Now is where you want to set up your advertisements. So enter all of your different headlines, enter your description lines. You want to enter your business name and logos. You need to get access here and be verified through Google. Site links, callouts, I would recommend using some of the different assets here as well. Now, I have videos on my channel for best practices with some of the different assets, best practices for creating responsive search ads. But what you would want to do is fill out all of these different headlines, or at least as many headlines as possible. So you can say plumbing services, plumbing companies, best plumbing company. You could do affordable plumbing services. So basically what you're trying to do here when you're writing your ads is anything that is going to keep people from actually wanting to give you a call. So things like, this might be too expensive. Things like, are they always available? So you could always do 24-hour plumbing company. And then you want to do some headlines that will match with these main headlines here. So we reply within 30 minutes. So what you can actually do is when you have your ad variations here, your ads may have the first headline say plumbing services, the second headline may say we reply within 30 minutes. You also may have affordable plumbing services, we reply within 30 minutes. So basically it's not going to be overly expensive and they're going to get back to me immediately. So then you know that people are going to at least get back to you when you are trying to hire a plumber, which generally those are more emergency type situations. Let's look at our descriptions here so you can see some different descriptions. These are based on my final URL, and it says in other ads in my ad group. Now this is the only ad in my ad group, but let's just add a description line and let's add this description line. So we're just going to add a couple of descriptions. I don't want to sit here and write a bunch of different ads. Coming down to the bottom, you want to add as many assets as possible that are relevant for your business. You can add prices here if you have fixed plumbing prices, or you could say prices start at $100 or whatever it may be. Promotions, probably not something you're going to be doing. Structured snippets you could put here, and if you click on the plus sign for structured snippets, you could actually look at all these different header types, and some of the things that you may be able to do is service catalog and then do all the different services that you offer, every single plumbing service you offer, or every service that your local business offers. Lead forms, I would recommend setting up a lead form. Now, you don't necessarily have to do this, but the lead form, if you look at the advertisement itself, it's going to be at the very bottom. You could say, contact us for plumbing help, and you have a call to action description here, and just put, again, do things that create a little bit of urgency. So we reply within 30 minutes. So then when people actually submit their lead form, okay, I need to reply to this person because we can turn this lead into a new paying customer. But I would recommend setting up a lead form. Very easy to do. You click on the plus sign, and you just basically come up to the top here, headline, business name, description. You enter the questions that you want people to answer. So in this case, you'd probably do name, phone number, email, something like zip postal code, so then you know exactly where they're located. And that would probably all you would need for right now. Any qualifying questions, you can add those as well. Privacy policy URL, background image, create form submission message. Thank you. We'll reply to you in 30 minutes. Call to action, visit our website. So you can also say, visit our website to call us directly or something along those lines. Now we're going to click on cancel here. One thing to know about lead form submissions is you can actually tie them to your CRM. So it works with a lot of different CRMs, and every time somebody submits a lead, you can get it so that lead goes directly into your CRM, so you can easily manage all of your leads. You can also just download your list of leads directly from Google Ads and view them at any time. So it may be something where you go, okay, I mean, if you're replying within 30 minutes, you definitely want this to be something that goes into your CRM and gives you a notification. If it's basically, okay, as we get leads, we will reply to them within a few hours, then you can always check within Google Ads and you can see every time you're getting new leads. So that is how to create these advertisements. Let's click on done. Okay, so this isn't a perfect advertisement. You want to use better headlines than I did and create excellent advertisements, but we're going to click on next. Set your average daily budget. We'll just keep the budget they recommend. This says we're going to get $3 or 3.59 weekly conversions at a cost per conversion of $40, a weekly cost of $143. We only have one ad group. We're only targeting 2 keywords. Obviously, you want to build out and target more keywords. So we're going to click on next. And you can see my campaign is ready to publish. They may tell you to upgrade your keywords to broad match. I would recommend phrase match keywords for a service campaign. You really want things to be as targeted as possible. So people who are searching for plumbing parts or people who are searching for plumbing training or how to get certified, you don't want your ads to show for them. You want paying customers to see your ads. So now what you want to do is we come over to within our campaign, we're going to come over to our ad group screen here, and we're going to click on the plus sign again. And what you would want to do is set up ad groups for some of the different things that you offer. So over here, they have leak repair. So that may be another keyword that you target is leak repair services. So let's just use that as our example. We're going to use a standard ad group here, leak repair. You can enter keywords again to get keyword suggestions. We're just going to say leak repair, fix a leak. Now, the one thing is you may want to use things like services. So let's just see the keywords they recommend. So we'll do leak repair here. You really want this to be focused on people that are actively looking for services and not people that are looking for how to do this themselves. A lot of people will not look to do this themselves. Now, pool leak repair near me, this may be an opportunity for a negative keyword if you don't do anything related to pool leaks. If you do things related to pool leaks, which some plumbing companies do, then you can add this as a separate keyword in a different ad group. But what you want to do is, so water pipe repair, come up to the top here. Okay, basement leak repair, water leak repair, foundation leak, roof leak. So all of these things are things you may want to target. Probably want to be focused on water leak, leak repair, water line. So really want to be more focused on water line. If it's something that you do not fix, then you do not want to be targeting that keyword. So let's just say we'll target these: water leak repair, leak repair. We'll target these keywords. These should be a good keywords to get started with, and maybe leak repair services. And then you want to put quotes around all these keywords to make them phrase match. You can change this after too. You could always change the match types of your keywords. I recommend phrase match because broad match is going to lead to some irrelevant searches. Exact match may be a little bit too exact, but you could also use exact match keywords as well. With phrase match, it's going to match all of these different keywords and anything that is very similar. So we have all of these keywords now. We're going to scroll to the bottom, save and continue, and now it's going to tell us to create our advertisements. Okay, so first and foremost, we have a specific landing page where we want to send traffic to. You definitely want to use the most relevant landing pages that you have. Then you want to make sure that your headlines match exactly what people are searching. So leak repair services, those are the types of headlines you would want to use for your ad. Keep creating different headlines for your ads that are the most relevant to the actual keywords that you're targeting and to the landing page where you're sending traffic. You're trying to create the best possible experience for users. So if I go to Google and I search for leak repair near me, I see an ad that says leak repair services. I click on that ad. I get sent to a page that says water leak repair services. I give this company a call and they turned basically a new lead into a new customer, and they've increased their revenue. So we have our descriptions here. You can set up your assets as well. Make sure you have your call assets set up. We should have call assets set up at the campaign level at this point, so we shouldn't really need to reset those up. But now what we have are a couple different ad groups in here. I want to make sure this campaign doesn't run, so we're going to pause our ad groups. But then within our assets, you can actually see that we have our call assets set up at the campaign level. You can also use site link assets and link out to some of the different pages. So commercial plumbing, drain cleaning, faucets, garbage disposals, anything. Some of the most popular services that you actually offer are some of the things you want to focus on. So we have this, our call asset added to the campaign level. We set that up when we set up our campaign. So now this campaign over time should help drive more phone calls, more leads. And what I would recommend doing, I'm going to pause this really quick. What I would recommend doing is making sure that you don't just focus on phone calls. I know it's kind of an instinct to say, I want phone calls, I want paying customers on the phone. But if you just say, okay, somebody comes into your website and you give them no opportunity to schedule online or anything like that, people may say, you know what, I don't feel like calling right now. So either I'll call later or I'll do another search later, and you might lose out on a customer. So give people different ways to contact you because it's only going to improve your overall conversion results and give you more for your budget. So these are some different ways to drive phone calls using a Google Ads campaign. Basically, what you want to do is be very focused on the different services that you offer. Make sure you have landing pages set up for all the different services that you offer. So when somebody comes into your business page, even if they come directly from a search engine and not an advertisement, so from organic search, they'll be able to see, okay, they offer all these services. We can contact them directly right now, and that is a great way to drive new paying customers to your business. With Google Ads, you want to have this is a very, very good landing page by Roto-Rooter. I'm sure they paid companies a lot of money to have conversion rate optimization. So sometimes what I recommend is looking at a big competitor and seeing what they're currently doing and saying, okay, they have this schedule online button, they have this call option, so let's make sure we have those on our website. They also have these separate landing pages, so let's see what happens with their separate landing pages. Okay, we have a video here, probably a quick just explanation of some of the things they do. At your service 24 hours a day, so some more information about the specific service. Something you can't do yourself, call the pros, fix it today. Not the service you're looking for, see what else we have to offer. Customer reviews, why choose Roto-Rooter, useful resources, and basically that ends the landing page. So very solid landing page here. They may have separate custom landing pages set up for their ads. I didn't check. I'm just using their website as an example here. So if you have any questions about driving more phone calls with a search campaign, using some of the different options as far as local services ads through Google Ads, then please leave them in the comments section. I'll do my best to answer all of them. But basically, try local services ads if you're eligible. Within your campaigns, you want to make sure you're using call assets, and you want to make sure that you have lead form assets if you're trying to drive lead forms. Call only campaigns, I really would recommend just using a search campaign like I did, where you drive people to your actual website and then you try to drive leads that way. And then before you get started with any of your campaigns, make sure you are tracking phone calls. This is how to create a Google Ads call campaign, so I'll put that link in the video description. But please, again, if you have any questions, thank you for watching my video today, and make sure you subscribe to the Surfside PPC YouTube channel.